0 with 2 shutouts to start the season for the first time since 2008. I'm Greg Ellis, and you are watching Gridiron Takes with Coach Ty Harden, 2-0. Right where you want to be with a big game looming at Corinth Friday night.
Yeah, feel good. I mean, obviously 2 shutouts, 2 big scoring games. Didn't play as crisp game 2 as we did game 1, but it was hard to follow up that from game 1.
You almost kind of wish they were reversed a little bit.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, you look up and be somewhat disappointed in the 55-0 win, but I mean, that's just kind of our standard of our program. We want to play great. We want to prepare great. I don't feel like we did that last week, and so we want to get back to that this week.
Well, you've always said when you don't compare yourself to other teams, you compare yourself to yourself, and you weren't happy with how you guys were playing.
Right, and it's hard to kind of relate that to 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. It's like, guys, it's not about our opponent, it's about us. And I said it on the stream last week. This is not going to affect us now. It might affect us later against Oxford, Madison, Starkville, all those teams, Clinton, but we have to get better. Fix the little things that we can, let the younger guys get better, master our craft, so when those other teams do come to town or we take those trips and we start division, that we are prepared and that there is not a drop-off because we've played this type of speed and this team's got this type of speed and talent,
Right. We go to Corinth for the first road game of the year. It's always a little bit different when you're on the road, but we go there with some interesting stats. Offense in 2 games, nearly 700 total yards of offense. Defense hasn't even given up 200 yards of offense. That's almost hard to put your mind around.
I mean, it's something that's an expectation I think could be mastered by us and get done. We always feel good about where we are defensively. We've got to keep playing with that type of tone, that type of speed. When we're on, we're really good on defense. I think you saw it first drive of the second half. I didn't think we played good first drive, second half defense, and we rallied them a little bit halftime. And that first drive, it looked like us. We had guys making plays from the backside to the front side of the play. Sacking the quarterback on the other side. And it was like, that's us. And the guys were like, you're right, Coach, that is us.
We've talked a lot about the defense going to Corinth this week, but Coach, you also got to empty your bench Friday night against Saltillo in that 55-0 win. How important is it this early on to get those guys playing time like that?
It's so important. Those young guys at the time of day, you're one play away from being a starter out there.
Right.
And what are you going to do when that moment comes? I mean, there's a possibility one of those 2 guys that came off the bench this Friday night start or play a lot this Friday night just because of injuries or anything that's going on. And it's good to get those guys what they look like when they're in a game, in a live game setting.
It's a little different when the lights come on.
Exactly. Coach Ward has said this 5 million times. He got this from the great Tommy Morton. He's always said, the weight of that jersey is a little bit heavier when you're starting on Friday night. And it's true, it's a little bit different. That jersey's a little bit heavier. And so it's good for those guys to get that experience out there for sure.
One of the things that you talked about last week that you wanted to improve was running the football. And it looked like you guys made a concerted effort to really push the run game. We
did. They were not going to. They were doing everything they can to not let us pass.
Right.
So they were playing too high, man under, and they were taking away every zone they could. They were doing some things in the secondary that they had not done the previous 2 weeks, and they were doing some stuff just to take away some of our deep game. As you saw, our receivers kind of looked slow at certain times because they were trying to figure out, we're kind of a space team. We're going to try to find that space and get open. And you can tell some of our receivers are kind of frustrated with that. Our quarterback had plenty of time to throw the ball, but what they were giving us, we're sometimes probably trying to put a square peg in a round hole. Trying to, get to that score, trying to score real fast and, start that up. But, we kind of settled down, ran here, ran there, and we knew we could run the ball on them. We probably forced a few things, but that's okay. I mean, that's part of it. And, we wanted to try a few things out.
One thing I thought Saltillo was really committed to is they weren't going to get beat deep. So they dropped their, I mean, it looked like a 3-3-5
Yes.
almost several times, and they were not going to get beat deep.
They weren't. They were doing everything they can to keep everything in front of them. It's just smart. I would. We can score it about any time with the deep ball, and sometimes we kind of probably got impatient when we could have thrown this under route when we probably when we threw the over route. But yeah, they had a good plan right there, and they executed it pretty well early on. They obviously, you can tell they come out with a lot of fire and momentum, and they should. Everybody knew that they were going to come out with a chip on their shoulder and be hot and ready, and they played better than us the first 3 or 4 drives of the game. I think what kind of kick-started the whole game to hurt us momentum was first play of the game, we return a kickoff 90 yards for a touchdown. It gets called back. Second play of the game, we have a touchdown called, but we snap it over the quarterback's head. So it was 2 bad momentum things that we let kind of avalanche on us, and we can't do that. And we got to learn from those. We will. But those 2 kind of plays like that, because we had a play right there that we had 2 wide open guys that we knew were going to be touchdowns first play of the game. But, you live and you learn, and that's over with, and I'm glad it is over with.
You talked about the touchdown being called back on that opening kickoff. Boy, you've got all the momentum, the energy, and it just sucks it right out of you when that happens. And I can tell your sideline how it's going to be. I picked up on just a couple things about player reaction, and that energy was lost right after that. It just kind of, not completely lost, but it wasn't juiced, nothing like the Lafayette game. Correct.
I mean, and we're probably an emotional team sometimes, and it's probably my fault because I'm an emotional guy, and emotional energy guy, and I'll take the blame on that. We gotta hold our emotions better. I was probably calm, cool, and collective at the time, but the guys were probably like, "Man, come on now," But we can't let that bother us in a big game like that. We got to learn to hey. It's adversity. It is what it is. It's going to happen. We're going to get it. We're going to have a big touchdown play. There's going to be several times this season where we get a big touchdown and gets called back.
Right.
How we going to play the next play?
You told me at halftime, right before we kicked off to start the second half, that you just had to tell the guys, have fun. And sometimes I think that age, they forget that. And maybe as coaches and as fans, we forget that, hey, those kids need to have fun too. You made that emphasis at halftime, and it was evident that they were just a little more loose.
Oh, I came into the locker room, hellfire and brimstone, just own them, just like, I'm digging in them. We're up 35-0, and we're about to have a running clock the second half. And I'm on them just like, that's not the way we play, yada, yada, yada. And I got my point across. But then I come back and say, guys, that's over with. That's over with. First half's over with. I didn't have fun first half, and you didn't have fun first half. Okay, let's change that.
Right.
It's you live and you learn right there. Now it's time to have some fun. Let's get all that stuff out of here. Hey, we're up 35-0. We accomplished the goal of being up. Now it was ugly as all get out, but we've got to sit back, have fun. Enjoy this moment. We only get so many games a year. We only get to play in a crowd like this so many times. I said, let's just go out and play, baby, and so let's go do it. So that was basically what it was. Let's just go out and have fun.
7:30 this Friday night. Coach, it's a Corinth program that's got a great tradition. A couple of years removed from a state championship. Last year they were way down. We took care of business pretty handily in that game. Unlike any other matchup we've had with them, usually it really comes down to the end. We go back there again this year, and the last time we were there, it took a last-second field goal to win at Corinth. Where is this team right now? How has your practices been? Because you told us last week you didn't see what you wanted to see in practices. Has that gotten better?
We had a good practice Monday, a really good Labor Day practice Monday. Yesterday we had an okay practice. I think they were better than what we had the week of Saltillo. And so, right now it's just, we get 2 more days this week. And, we're, obviously our team understands what we are and who we are, and that we can kind of only beat ourselves.
Right.
And that, some guys taking ownership of like, hey guys, if we practice like this and do this, we're not going to be the product that we could be on the field. And so I've seen guys kind of point that out. I've been able to stand back a little bit and not address a few things. And there, you'll see a senior or this kid be like, look, man, that ain't. If you saw how we practiced last week, we're not doing that this week. So it's been refreshing to see that. Will I say it's as good as it was that first week against Lafayette? No, we had a tremendous week of practice that week. But I can't say it's been been a bad week or anything like it was last week.
Corinth's 2-0. They beat Saltillo to open the season 28-2. Saltillo drove on them. They just couldn't finish turnovers, kind of like what they had last week, forced a lot of turnovers last week. They come back this past week, go into overtime and beat Kossuth. And what looked, I hadn't seen any film, but on paper it looked like it must have been a pretty good game. So what have you seen from this team?
So against, they played very well against Saltillo. They were the team that made Saltillo make mistakes. Saltillo stopped themselves a lot. They drove down to the red zone, I think turned the ball over 4 or 5 times. And Corinth capitalized on their opportunities. They did a great job capitalizing on that. They're a team that I've noticed that does that. Same thing in the Kossuth game. They took advantage of missed opportunities at Kossuth. That's an old rivalry right there. That's a hated game with each other. And so that was a knockdown, drag out, slobber knocker. Had to go into 2 or 3 overtimes, and Kossuth went for 2 and lost the game. So, don't know if there's going to be some type of, football hangover for them this week. Don't know. We do know that just like Saltillo, this is going to be their Super Bowl.
Right.
I've already seen that they're going to have this big pep rally in town for us coming into town and all that. That's going to be a festival-like style. Friday night for them is going to be their biggest gate, no-brainer, because they know the opponent they've got coming in, and I don't blame them too. They're going to be up and ready for us. I wouldn't be surprised either way, the way it goes. They've got a good team. They're obviously better than they were last year, year or two under their coach, and we're expecting their best shot for sure.
I've never been to Corinth, and it's not been a great crowd and a great atmosphere. I've never been anywhere on the road with us where we didn't travel well either. So while Corinth's going to have a nice contingency of fans, we know we're going to be bringing the loads too. We
should, for sure. I mean, it's not a far trip.
Right.
I figure a lot of people from our town are familiar with that town. It's good that Corinth probably got some great restaurants and stuff up there. They can stop and eat and get to the game. And so, I'm expecting a big crowd. Hope the weather's a decent crowd. Gives us an opportunity to get a decent crowd. So we'll see.
There is a little chance of rain. Rain never hurt anybody.
Right.
So, with the weapons that we have, I don't know if even rain can slow us down offensively.
We practiced Monday in the rain. Our kids call it wave weather. They like it when it rains. It started, and it was when we got to our team setting, which was about 20 minutes, it started pouring down, and our guys started hooping and hollering, kind of embracing it. Just the mentality of, hey, man, it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's hot, if it's cold, we're going to still play. That's just what we do.
One thing to keep in mind I want you to put in your calendar, September the 30th is community tailgate night against Oxford from 5 to 7, and then come on over for the football game. That's a couple of weeks away, but go ahead and put it on your calendar, which I've already had businesses reach out to me. So we're going to do things a little bit different with the community tailgate this year. We're going to put all the businesses in one area. I've never had more than 2 businesses reach out to me. Sometimes they just come and show up, but they're preparing ahead. So
wow.
I love the excitement. Everywhere I go, people want to talk about football. I'm in a restaurant Tuesday night. That football team, how good are I love it. You're starting to feel it everywhere you go in the community. Well,
good. I mean, that's what it's about. You build it, they'll come. We're still building it. We've got a great platform and opportunity in front of us. And and like I've said it 5 million times. There's so much to do in this town on a Friday night, and we only get so many opportunities. And as you can tell, we provide a pretty dang good atmosphere. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and said, man, those 2 games, the atmosphere and just the, they hadn't seen that. I got one of my next door neighbors that graduated in 2006. He was talking about some of those old Shannon games and stuff like that when they were in high school. He said, Ty, what I saw in the last 2 games, I've not seen. I didn't see it when I was in high school. I mean, he said, so fans are coming. They're excited about it. We've got a good football program and a football team, and folks want to see it, and we just got to keep getting better and keep playing.
Before we close, you know, in years past, we've always wanted to kind of get everybody to know a little bit more about you. We're in year 3. If they don't know you now, they're not going to. But I do want to ask you this question to kind of close the show with. When you go to a college football game, or you go to another high school game, when, you know, if we were playing on Thursday night, can you watch those games as a fan, or are you coaching in your head too?
I sometimes coach in my head. I do keep my mouth shut though, because I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. I mean, there's
Social media can ruin you.
there's too many coaches in the stands already.
Right.
You know, that's not my place. That's not my program. I can suggest to myself, oh, I would have done this right here. I would have done this, but I would never verbally say it like everybody around the stands, that, you know, kind of make it hard for coaches and people like that. I just try to enjoy it, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy my family, you know, and that's the biggest thing. We went to the state game this past weekend. Our whole family went, and just kind of enjoyed seeing old friends, right. And you know, some of my players come by the tailgate, let them enjoy. Hey, you know, I had several of the guys say, Coach, I've never been to a college football game. I said, we come this Saturday. And so they came and they tailgated. They're like, I didn't know it was going to be like this. Right. I didn't know it was going to be this packed. I didn't know the food was going to be this good. I didn't know I was going to get to do that. I was like, I mean, that's what it is. You know, that's what you don't get to see. You know, you see all this on social media and see all that, but the experience is what makes everything. Not what you see in pictures and in paper. It's going and doing it.
Exactly. And that is what we want to accomplish against Oxford with our tailgate on September 30th. Well, Coach, congrats to the great start. Good luck against Corinth. This is the start of a 3-game road swing, so you're not going to be here for a while, so it's going to be a different approach.
Right. It is. We need this. I'm excited to kind of go on the road for 3 weeks. It's going to be a test for our guys. Sometimes road trips are they're good for you to kind of get out, being out of the comfort of your home.
Right.
You know.
All right. For Coach Ty Harden, I'm Greg Ellis. As always, thank you for tuning in to Gridiron Tales.